So is it all right if I say on the internet that what we did? Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's all right. We're done now. We're good.
Well, we just had wedding cake, so we're starting a little late, and this is for you on the internet. Welcome to Saturday Night Live Life Recovery. Willie and Lori got married yesterday, and so we had some wedding cake, and they fought to see who could, put most that they could in the other person's mouth. And Willie still got it in his mustache, and so anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So we want to say congratulations and God bless you, and we're believing for only good things, which we can believe for that and work through the others, right?
Right.
Yeah. So tonight, we are going to be covering out of the topic of the paradox of powerlessness. And it's a good topic, and we're going to be sharing that, and Tommy's going to be teaching it tonight, and Vanessa will be doing the reflection. So it's going out of the scripture reference that we're going to be covering, going out of is 2 Corinthians 4, 7 through 10. And it's step 1. I'm going to read step 1 right now. We admitted that we were powerless over our problems, that our lives are become unmanageable. And so we're taking this topic of the paradox of powerlessness. So let's talk about what that is. How about that? Good idea?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So maybe we ought to talk about maybe what is a paradox. How about that?
Thank you. I needed that.
What is a paradox? No thoughts? Anybody got a handy phone?
It's like something with two different possible meanings, but
Say it again, Jimmy.
something that has like two different possible meanings for the same thing.
Two possible meanings, but they're in conflict possibly.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right. Anybody else? Were you going to read the definition? Was that what you was getting? I saw you getting your phone out, so.
No, I got my phone out for other reasons.
Other reasons, okay.
Yeah.
Is that anything close to a paradigm?
No, it's only close into the degree that it's basically talking about two dynamics in it. Okay. But most paradigms, well, that wouldn't have two. That is a structure, a paradigm that's usually used in a structure. Paradox is like Jimmy was saying, and I'm going to read you the definition. And it says a paradox is a statement or situation that seems to contradict each other or go against common sense, but may still be true. Okay? And a lot of spiritual freedom and truth feels like it's almost paradoxical. Because in one sense we're thinking one way, but actually the truth is another. And that's that two things contradicting each other. And because we get locked down in our thinking. Does anybody here recognize you sometimes get locked down in your thinking? Some people call them moods.
Thanks, Doug.
I just thought about that, right?
Yeah.
Haven't got hurt yet. So, how about the next question? What does the paradox of powerlessness mean? Okay, now, do we need to talk about powerlessness? We've probably got a reasonably good concept of powerlessness, right?
We might, but they might not.
They may not, so then we'll talk about powerlessness then. Would you like to share what that means?
Powerlessness is when the circumstances around you might be making you irritated, but you have no control, and the more you try to control, the worse it gets.
Yeah, that's really good. Man.
I'm self-aware.
Causes high blood pressure.
Good, yes, yes, yeah. Self-imposed imprisonment or anxiety, right?
Yes.
So that is powerlessness is that you feel like there's nothing you can do about it, or that you're stuck, or you're overwhelmed. And we'll be talking. Actually, most of your questions has to do with all that. And so we talk here about being powerless, but that doesn't mean that you don't have any power. But you do have power in and around. I think of it this way: you have power in areas before your areas of addiction or obsessive compulsive behaviors, and you have power on the other side of it. But right where it is, you may not have the power because it has the power over you. Is that okay?
You're stuck in neutral.
Well, I don't think it's really neutral. I think it's in the sink mode. Downward spiraling motion. Yeah, John.
Is another way of saying that you gave your power up to it?
Say it again.
You gave your power up to it? Does it take?
But yeah, gave your power up to your addiction or
Yeah.
obsessive compulsive behavior. Yeah. I think that would be a reasonable statement. Would you guys? Robert?
And I think part of the paradox is we don't want to accept that we're powerless
Right.
over that area of our life.
Yes.
And most other people around us may not accept that either, because I've had many people say, well, why don't you just stop?
Right.
Or why can't you just spend $20 and then walk away?
Right.
Or whatever it might be that they, and I've said that to myself too, why can't I do that? So that's a paradox as well. It seems like we should have enough willpower to control it, but yet in that area of our life, we can't.
The forces are so immense that it will handle us if we give it the opportunity.
Right.
And we have power before that, we have power after that, or top, or whatever you want to say on every side of it. And if we manage ourselves in a proper way, then we can miss that pothole of the addiction or obsessive most of the time, you know. So, but we do have power. We have power to deal with making connections, acquiring information, making choices in our life that helps us to avoid those situations, work on controlling our thoughts and our emotions. And a lot of people say, it's not fair. That's a lot of work. I said, well, you're right. It's not fair, but the reality is, if you don't do that, where are you going to go? Where are you going to end up?
In reverse.
Is that where you want to be? Right, in reverse. So, see, fair is not the issue here. It's reality, right? Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So, now we talked about powerless, so we'll put them together. Ta-da! And we're going to put the paradox of powerlessness. Yeah, paradox of powerlessness. What does that mean?
So,
Robert,
go ahead.
To me, it means if we recognize our powerlessness and admit it,
yes?
then it seems like a paradox because God can help us through it. That's the only thing that will help us through it. And to avoid the pitfalls of that powerlessness over our problem.
There is a statement in some different therapies that says, and I've said it here, that resistance causes it to persist. And lying to yourself or saying I don't have a problem it actually feeds or empowers that to have more power in your life, because you're, like John saying, you're giving your power over to it because you're saying it's not real. So you're trying to push your attention in different areas so that you basically can partake in the addiction or the obsessive compulsive behaviors. Yes?
Would that be like subconsciously feeding the negative? Would that
Subconsciously what the negative?
feeding, like
Feeding, yeah.
the negative? And that?
Yeah, and yes, and we do that, and we can rationalize why we do it, right? We can rationalize why we do it, because because we deserve it, or nobody will know, or it's okay this time, or we'll make all kinds of excuses. Will was thinking of some excuses there, weren't you, Will?
I've got a list of them in the van.
And so Vanessa, you was gonna say something.
So, in the big picture, a paradox is more or less neutral. It is your mind, it's your frame of mind that puts negative or positive onto it. So it's that choice. It's like the paradox presents you with two choices, to be reactive or responsive. Reactive is where you don't put thought, you don't have self-control, and you give into it, kind of like what John was saying, or reactive is also avoiding it, where responsive is where you come to the river, and instead of getting upset about the problem that's in front of you, you sit and you allow. So you sit down and then you allow whatever you're feeling to feel and kind of flow through you, rather than,
Another word would be maybe fit, throw a little emotional fit,
yes,
tantrum,
without causing destruction.
because you're not getting your way.
Exactly.
Okay, just check it.
Yes, that's it. So, but you have to allow the emotion to flow. So what I've learned today and this week is when I'm sad about something, I want to be angry because angry is easy. Sad is that vulnerability that I don't like feeling, because that is the point where I have to admit that I'm powerless. When I want to...
Wait. But see, being angry actually makes you feel powerful.
Exactly.
And sadness makes you feel vulnerable.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
You're okay.
You go ahead.
You
can
read
say
my
it.
mind.
I did.
So, but the thing is what we recognize with anger is that instead of allowing the powerlessness and the paradox to just be what it is, we try to take control and we cause destruction. Whether it is avoiding, whether it is anger, whether it is however you lash out, whether it's codependency or the manipulation or, the obsessive crying, that is also manipulation. Just let it be. Find another outlet for it. You can write it down, you can paint, you can demolish a camper. I don't know, throw axes at wood. Find an outlet.
Well, there's a continuum of choices, and some are always a little healthier than others.
Yes.
But there is a continuum of choices, and the further you go out on that continuum, it becomes more and more destructive and unhealthy.
Yes.
But the definition, which it says a little different than you said it, but it's the same thing. It says a paradox is a statement a paradox is a statement or situation that seems, you said you get to decide which way it is. It's saying it seems to be contradictory, right? And that's the paradox here, and that's where, and if we go to, it's kind of like those old, I haven't seen them for years, but those what they call Chinese handcuff
Yeah.
or Mexican hand, where you put your fingers in them, and the more you pull, the tighter it gets you, and you keep struggling, and you can't get away. But if you relax and you just kind of push in and move a little bit, you can kind of then it'll slide right off. And when we fight it, when we resist, it persists, or when we fight it. And so the power of paradox, the paradox of powerlessness means often points to the that by admitting and accepting our lack of control is a certain situation, we gain truth, strength, clarity, and freedom. It's apparent in many spiritual, social, and recovery contexts, particularly in the 12 steps and Alcoholics Anonymous of a similar program. So when we recognize this paradox of powerlessness, we have this conflict that contradicts each other, counterintuitively truth. And so we're in the process of working through that. And if we cannot fight it, kind of set with it, you didn't say it that way, but that's what you indicated, that set with it, then you can, instead of being emotionally churned up, look for solutions and possibilities, or maybe even what I'm learning out of this situation, then actually we grow and mature. How about that? Is that okay? Sound reasonable?
Yes.
Sounds reasonable.
So, and I had a bunch of other stuff that I thought I might talk about, but that took long enough, so
What time is it? We only have 2 songs.
that's all right. We got it. So, thanks for being here tonight, and we're going to, Bobby's ill from what I heard, and so, but we got the best part of the band tonight.
I'm gonna tell him that.
You go right ahead. And so, anyway, we're gonna have some music. And we even have a new chord.
Yes.
Is that a G or a C?
It's a B for black.
It's wiry.
To be or not.
I didn't know if this thing's not going where we're at. Got you hitting the bottle on the TV.
Ready, Jimmy?
Check.